There's a new Stormtrooper helmet in the Solo trailer, so guess what I'm making? An Orville Blaster! Kidding. That's a sneak peek. For this build, I used these standard shop tools. White floor mats, which are totally a thing by the way, craft foam, contact cement, hot glue, safety gear, and sanding tools. Alright, let's see what we have to work with in the way of reference images. So at first I thought that this was just a tank trooper helmet, but of course I watched the trailer over and over again like a lunatic, and noticed a few subtle differences, which makes it fair game! It's essentially a cross between the shore trooper and tank trooper helmet. Now I could take the easy way out and just modify the tank trooper helmet I built, but it's in a landfill somewhere outside Toronto. Don't ask. Also, I just start from scratch anyway because that helmet was not entirely accurate, seeing as how I made it based on reference images from a trailer before the movie came out. Getting the weirdest deja vu right now. First, I cut out dome parts. I wanted to use this 1/4 inch white EVA foam, but my template was just barely too big. So close. So I ended up going with the full-size sheet. I pulled these templates off of an old helmet and then slowly modified them over the years until they fit my head better. See the difference between my first helmet, the Kylo Ren helmet, and my last helmet, Darth Waffle Iron? So if you're starting from scratch, I'd pull a template off of one of those smooth bike helmets. Or if you have a life cast to your head, that'd be perfect. You know, just lying around. I thumbtacked and cut out the dome parts. I periodically sharpen my knife to get cleaner cuts. Oh, also if you're just starting out, modern knife sharpeners don't look like this. This is at least 120 years old, so don't be thrown if you're shopping for tools and the knife sharpeners look like headless screwdrivers. I'm labeling the inside of those as I go so that I know how they're all supposed to be oriented. The hash marks on the outer edges are for more precise alignment. I use my belt sander to smooth out some of the rough edges where the knife started to dull out or waver from a 90-degree angle. Oh hey, you like my ridiculous shop clothes? The irony does not escape me that I'm wearing a Star Trek shirt and building a Star Wars prop. Cue Flame War! The Enterprise can totally beat its Star Destroyer. Nuh-uh! That's great, Jake. Just alienate the fan base. Alienate both fan bases. I love all sci-fi equally, guys. I heat form the individual pieces with a heat gun. I get asked all the time if a hairdryer will work, and I've never tried it, but judging by the orange glow of death, I'm gonna say no. I put the parts in various makeshift braces while they cool. If you've never used a heat gun before, start on the back so that you know how long you have before this happens. When the piece is cooled, I attach them with contact cement. This stuff is toxic, so make sure you do this in a well-ventilated area while wearing a respirator. A lot of people have difficulty with contact cement, myself included, so what I found works best when cementing EVA foam is putting a layer of cement on it, letting it dry for 25 minutes, and then putting a second layer over that, and waiting 15 minutes before pressing the two pieces together. That's just what's worked for me. Other people may have a different process. By all means, sound off in the comments. This is how we learn. If you don't want to deal with all that, then you can just use hot glue. It may come apart if it's reactivated by, say, a convention in the middle of a desert. But you know what? Here's what a hot glue seam looks like after 2 years. Not perfect, but not shot, you know? Still waiting for the cement to set up, so I'll come back to that after a message from our sponsors. I'd like to take a moment to thank everyone who's supporting me on Patreon. All these people. Did I put it here or here? I feel like I'd put it here. I get build requests every day, and right now I can only really do one a month, because it can take up to a couple weeks to do a build. This one only happened because its unique nature saved me 3 incredibly time-consuming steps. Also, I haven't stopped working on it since the trailer came out. My blood is 80% coffee. And for all I know, this video is gonna get demonetized because it has the word wars in the title. Hell, my trailer reaction video got demonetized, so all bets are off! Anyway, if you're supporting these videos, thanks. You're the only reason this happens. If you'd like to support me, there's a link down below to my Patreon page. Alright, that should be enough time for the contact cement. Back to the build! You'll notice that this dome is incredibly lumpy, Chewy-san. So I'm gonna heat that up again to get it back into shape. And I think I just melted part of the shower curtain over there. The ends of the section didn't quite line up, so I evened them out on my belt sander. You can also use a rotary tool. I cut a 4-inch wide strip of EVA foam for the wall going around the helmet, cut off the puzzle pieces, sanded it, and heat formed it just a bit. I did 2 layers of contact cement again and attached it to the dome. You can see I overmeasured a bit, so I cut that off at an angle on either side. Oh hey, and add some goggles and white fabric, and you got a snowtrooper helmet. Getting 2 builds in one, hey? Okay, so there's this angled bit towards the base of the helmet that's sort of like what I got going on for my Knights of Ren helmet, but a bit further down and a bit more pronounced. Or less pronounced? I don't know. So I cut a 2-inch strip and sliced an angle out of it. That cut's just awful. So I cleaned it up a bit on, you guessed it, the belt sander. That was actually from the patrons, so thanks patrons. Get a lot of use out of that what was that, 2 months of donations for that belt sander? It was a while ago. I hot glued that on, which actually was 1,000 times less messy and toxic, but I think I am going to use contact cement on either end of it just to help with all the tension that's trying to pull it apart. I made the cheekbone plates by cutting up a random piece of foam until it looked right to me, and then flipping it and tracing it. I also cut the outer parts way longer than they're supposed to be because there's a lot of guesswork going on here. I'd rather overmeasure and have to cut than undermeasure. I also used the double contact cement technique for exactly that reason. Then I made this itty bitty bridge of the nose section, attached it, and then folded in the outer plates. I clamped them because this is again a high stress area and it needs time to set up. You definitely need foam spacers, otherwise you'll have a clamp shaped divot in your mask. I made the mouth vent out of 1/4 inch black craft foam and cut away the excess foam from the cheekbone plates. Oh, it's a lovely sound. Then I added craft foam of varying thicknesses for all the other details. I was hoping that the dome seams wouldn't be quite so prominent because there's 5 on mine and only 3 on the one in the trailer, but they were, so I hid those by covering them with white craft foam, which is much thinner and easier to shape. So the whole reason I'm using white EVA foam is I don't want to paint. So this is me not sanding, not sealing, not painting a base coat, not painting a top coat, and not weathering. Love not weathering. For the visor, I used clear plastic that I hit with nightshade spray paint. Although if you can find those black semi-transparent folders at like a Staples or something, then those might also work. And that's how you make a Star War. And now you can fight smugglers on a train. Why do people do this? You're still just on the train. Right? Hey, thanks for watching, everyone. Be sure to like and subscribe. Check out the Etsy store. Everything's in the description for more details. Let me know what other props you'd like to see me make from the Solo movie, or just in general. Jake out.